Hello, I'm Dan West with Livonia Chamber of Commerce. It's our latest edition of CityScape, our podcast featuring people, places, and ideas that impact Livonia. This week marks the final week that Dr. Conway Jeffress will be at the helm of Schoolcraft College, where he's been president since 2001. He's retiring in August after a 4-decade career at Schoolcraft. We are happy he can join us now. Dr. Jeffress, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Dan, for asking me. I appreciate it.
When you look back at your Schoolcraft career, what are some of the greatest memories and accomplishments that come to the top of your mind?
Well, I have been thinking about that a little bit, and I'd like to go all the way back to the first year. Dick McDowell, my predecessor, and I both came to Schoolcraft about the same time. He in late 1981, and I came in January of 82. Both of us came from the Community College of Allegheny County, and when we arrived at Schoolcraft, one of the things that we saw that was disturbing is a labor relations climate, which was not particularly healthy. And so since I'd been responsible for labor relations back in Pittsburgh, Dick had decided that I should work on that. And basically the effort was to try to get something that was more peaceful and harmonious. So we started way back then, and because up until that time, each time a contract was over, there was a short strike, and every strike has its wounds that are left over. So you don't want any of them, and that's what we worked on. So we worked very hard on that and got to the point where up through even the present, we've had no strikes and only a handful of arbitrations in the early days. So I think we've developed a relationship of trust between the unions and the college, which has been good for everyone. It's been good for the people, and it's been good for us too. So I think, given the difficulties of labor negotiations, that was a major accomplishment in my mind. The second one, I remember getting the BDC started. This is the college's relationships with businesses.
The Business Development Center, correct? Yes,
that's correct. And there was a person who we got to head it up, and I don't know if you remember him, Bruce Sweet, but we got some grant money together. We got the pro formas together as far as the college was concerned, and we went and talked to all the businesses to show them that we were interested in their welfare and that there are things we could do for them, and we were not just there with our hand out to ask for more money to do what they already thought they could do. So the grants and whatnot came in very handy, and we were able to help a lot of companies either emerge or strengthen. In fact, since that program started way back when, we have been able to generate more than $2 billion worth of federal contracts and whatnot for local companies. So I feel as if we made a contribution above and beyond the usual things that colleges do in their various communities. So I consider that another good one. I guess the last thing on the list that's different enough to make comment on was the realization that tuition and taxes were not going to be sufficient to support a higher education institution in this day and age. And I used to watch the physical plant people mow grass, and they would start on Monday and they'd go back and forth, and somewhere around Wednesday, they would be almost finished, and then you put the gas in and oil it up, and you were starting back again on Monday. And I thought there was a lot of acreage of grass that we could do some other things with. And so we started the notion of trying to develop the land that Schoolcraft owned. And we did that for two reasons. A, we could generate revenue, but from a standpoint of, especially for the city of Livonia, once you take a piece of tax-free property and put a commercial enterprise on, then the commercial enterprise land becomes taxable. So the city of Livonia could get an increase in its tax base. We could get revenue from the leasing of the land. And as a last little tidbit, for those companies that had the kinds of jobs that our students could do, that was a great opportunity. So I look back and I think those are the three things I did that made it worthwhile for them to pay me a salary and give me lunch every now and again.
And there's no doubt that of those businesses that came through, Masco bringing their headquarters to Livonia, the most recent addition to the number of companies that Schoolcraft's development plans have provided here in Livonia.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Why are community colleges so important today in Michigan?
One of the things that has caused their importance to rise is in the shift in the nature of jobs. For a very long time, we had kind of two extremes in play. One, you were an engineer, a manager, someone in charge. And the other, you were a laborer of some sort. And certainly there were some jobs in between, but they were not plentiful. And now for most businesses, including hospitals and other organizations, the vast majority of jobs are there in the middle. They're the so-called technical jobs. So when you go to, you were talking earlier about talking to Dave Spivey. When you go to the hospital, you're going to see a physician for a couple of minutes when you arrive. And then after that, you're going to see technicians. They're going to give you MRIs and CT scans and all these other sorts of things. And then again, you'll be introduced to a physician who will interpret those results. But all that middle work is technical work. And that's what community colleges do. So I think our rise in importance has come with the change in the nature of work.
And frankly, the majority of jobs going in the future are probably community college education is going to be by far the most in need.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
As you prepare to hand the reins over to incoming President Dr. Glenn Cerny, what advice are you giving him?
I have been trying not to give any advice. Glenn and I have worked together for a number of years, and so over those years, there have been lots of opportunities to give him tidbits, and so we will simply hope that he has absorbed all those tidbits and will make good use of them. But I like to keep hands off, when it comes to his turn. It's his turn, his domain. I want to stay out of it.
Well, you're definitely giving him years of a great example, Dr. Jeffress, and we congratulate you on your retirement. We thank you for all you've done to advance Schoolcraft, and we wish you all the best in the future, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Well, I thank you too, Dan, and I can say the same thing for you. You've done a lot to advance the future of this community as well. So
I appreciate that, especially from someone of your stature. I sincerely appreciate that. So we wish you all the best, and hopefully when we are able to socialize more again, you'll have a more appropriate, we can see in person
yes.
for a retirement party of some sort here. So
we will have a giant sandwich and a beverage of our choice, and that'll be a great day.
Anytime we can eat at the Vista Tech Center, it's a good thing. So
okay.
So Dr. Jeffress, thank you very much, and we appreciate everyone for watching this edition of CityScape. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.